I was 17 when I first realized that I would never be happy. It wasn't just me, nobody would. Just a year before I had this realization, I had everything that I was supposed to want, yet underneath all of it, there was this hunger that I couldn't feed no matter what I did. It felt like I would never be enough, so I made the craziest decision of my life, and I went to France alone my junior year of high school. No baseball, no friends, no family, not even English would be there for me. When I first got there, I was terrified, and it didn't take me long to realize that being at the top of your French class in high school meant absolutely nothing when it came to actually speaking the language. On my first day of school, the teacher isolated me in front of everybody in the class, and she bombarded me with question after question. And I did the only thing I could do, which was just stare at her blankly. When it finally came time for me to say something, I said the only thing I could say, which was, je ne comprends pas. I don't understand. And that very quickly became my motto. At the end of this first week in France, my host family got me a bike so that I could go to the climbing gym by myself. And on my first bike ride there, I was supposed to take a chill 25 minutes, but I got completely lost, and I fell over and cut my right arm wide open. I remember sitting there on the curb, and again, I didn't understand. This time, it wasn't because of the French. I was confused because, quite honestly, with my bloody arm and the bike on my side, in the middle of nowhere in France, this was the happiest I'd ever been. But it was the worst I'd ever been doing. I didn't know anybody. I couldn't talk to anybody. It's not like I was doing well in school or I was making any money. But I felt great. And this feeling lasted 2 weeks until slowly but surely that hunger started to creep back in. And as it did, I wanted three things in particular. I wanted to speak French, I wanted to have French friends, and I wanted to run an online business. 8 months later, I was staring at myself in the mirror in my room in France. The only light was coming from a small yellow lamp on my bedside table. And looking into my own eyes, all I could see was pure exhaustion. Just 8 months before, I didn't know how to say anything in French besides I don't understand. That night, I had an entire conversation with my host family. I was preparing to pass my national fluency certification. Just 8 months before, I had no income. Now I was running a business with 4 employees from my own bedroom. Just 8 months before, I didn't know a single person in the entire country. Now I had a great group of friends, and I had a host family that had my back no matter what. These were all the things I wanted 8 months ago when I was so happy, energetic, and lighthearted. Now I had all of them, and it felt like I'd lost that light completely. I was staring into the mirror with everything I thought I wanted and none of what I was actually looking for. And it was then that I said to myself, I'll never be happy. But what I didn't realize is that I had sacrificed the things that I wanted for the things that were supposed to get them. I had sacrificed the feelings of freedom, joy, and fulfillment for the things that I thought would bring me more of it. And I felt alone. But I wasn't alone. Because in 2012, Michael Phelps spent 4 days alone in his room in a state of deep depression. He didn't eat and he barely slept. This was just days after Phelps won 6 medals at the London Olympics. 4 golds, 2 silvers, becoming the most decorated Olympic athlete in history. This was his lifetime goal, and it was the lowest moment of his entire life. And this is not just a Phelps problem. It happens to high achievers in every industry across the world, where they've reached the goal they've been waiting for, they've been working for, and they feel empty. But this couldn't happen to you, right? Your goals will actually fulfill you. When you finally get the money, when you finally get the recognition, when you finally do the thing you've been telling yourself you're going to do, you won't feel happy, right? No. But that is what your brain is designed to make you think. See, no matter how high or low you feel, you will eventually be set to the same baseline. This is a process called hedonic adaptation. And it works as a necessary complacency killer. Because without it, our ancestors would have hunted one animal. They then would have feasted in the cave, and they never would have hunted again. The problem is that this survival mechanism is operating in a world where most of us here are lucky enough that survival is not the problem. Fulfillment is. One of the world's leading happiness researchers, Dr. Sonia Lyubomirsky, found that our circumstances only contribute to about 10% of our overall happiness. Yet most of us spend 90% of our time and our energy on that 10%. That's what I was doing in France. That's what Phelps was doing, optimizing for the smallest slice of the equation and being confused and not understanding when nothing changed. So what do we do instead? When I was a young kid, I clearly remember waking up in the middle of the night and seeing the lights still on downstairs. I was curious. So I walked down the steps, I peeked around the corner, and I saw my mom still typing away on her laptop at the kitchen counter. I walked up to her, she didn't see me yet, and I think I scared her as I got closer. But what scared her more was the question I asked next. I said, "Mom, are you stressed?" She looked at me, and she said, "No," but she really meant yes. You see, my mom, she believed that if she just did enough, if she achieved enough, she could provide a better life for me and my sister. And I have so much empathy because this is the same script I was running in France. But you see, we already had such amazing lives. We had the most loving family in the world, and my mom, she knew that consciously, but she still couldn't stop. Until a few years later, when she implemented a tradition that seemed so simple but changed so much. Every night, before we even touched the food on our plates, we had to go around the table and say what we were grateful for. My sister and I, we loved this. We made it a competition. Who could say the most things? Who could say the most absurd things? But for my mom, it really made a difference. She started to understand that what she needed to feel like this was enough was right here already. And I didn't know it then, but that was the solution to this burnout we've been talking about. I call it the duality of gratitude and ambition. Feeling extreme gratitude for what we have right now, while having massive goals and ambitions for the future. Because when you attach your entire self-worth to an achievement, you end up devaluing the one thing you're ever truly guaranteed, which is the present moment. With the duality, you don't have to. When I talk about gratitude, I don't mean, I'm grateful for my car, I'm grateful for my house. No, I mean the active, conscious appreciation of the things that make your life better. We all have it. When I talk about ambition, I mean the drive, that hunger I was talking about. It's what made me start a business. It's what made Michael Phelps a champion. And you need both of them. Because ambition without gratitude, that's the burnout. That's achievement without a foundation. And gratitude without ambition, that's apathy, that's complacency, that's my life's just fine. If you have none, then you're lost. You hate your life and you don't want to change anything. But if you have both, now that's a good spot to be. It's what I call resonance. It's when everything you need to be happy is right now, and you still are excited for more. Now, this doesn't just change the inside. Actually, it enhances your performance as well. In 2016, Michael Phelps came back to the Olympics after doing some inner work, and instead of winning 4 gold medals, he won 5. In the same paper that I cited earlier, Dr. Sonia Lyubomirsky found that the best way to slow down the process of hedonic adaptation is through active appreciation. And instead of just changing your happiness by 10% through circumstances, you can actually 4x that, 40% through intentional daily activity. That is the duality. And in my life, I've seen the benefits of this. Since I discovered this, I've applied it every single day. And although my circumstances aren't much different than that day in the mirror, I'm still a student, I'm still building businesses, I'm still learning. The architecture under all of it has completely changed. I no longer wake up chasing a feeling. I wake up standing on top of it and using it to propel me forward. So yeah, I guess 2 years ago, looking in the mirror, I was right when I said that I would never be happy. I would never be happy if happiness was something that I had to achieve. I would never achieve enough. Nobody will ever achieve enough. But my definition was wrong. Happiness is not meant to be something we achieve. It's meant to be the foundation that we build from. If you can embrace this in your life, I promise you that you will never have to choose between being grateful